asking her to unmute, and she actually, after the workshop, working on a study to reduce the burden of FGS in endemic communities of Anambra State in Nigeria. So over to you, Benedicta Aribodor. Your mic is already unmuted. You have the floor.
Yes. Good evening, good morning, good night, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Charlotte. I'm happy to be here once again following the development of our action plan. Immediately after the development of our action plan, being an academic, I quickly went to meet with the state NTD coordinator, that's State Tropical Diseases coordinator. And I gave him the previous results as requested by him so that he can use it and get enough praziquantel for these affected communities. But the challenge still remained because I was keen to assist these young girls and women in these communities because of open defecation that is practiced there, poor sanitation, like I earlier pointed out, and then their inability to understand what is happening to them because of cultural belief that women should keep quiet, they don't express themselves. Moreover, all their daily activities is glued to water. So I decided to tackle their problem from another source, which is tackling it from the root. Because it is important, yes, behavioral change is important and awareness creation is important. But for you to have proper complete eradication of FGS in this community and also promote their sense of livelihood, making them feel more like human beings, there's need to provide them with safe water supply. So in that way, we will now interrupt completely the transmission cycle of the infectious stages of these parasites. Now with that, the competency training actually helped me, like I said, so I decided to work with specific deadlines to achieve my goals. Immediately, I reversed my FGS action plan, thanks to Alison for her contribution. I had that interaction and that helped me. He was pleased with what I presented to him, the state coordinator, and then he provided information on schistosomiasis endemic communities that have not benefited below, and also where the coverage is low. And then also where we can be missing young girls who needed to be treated. But then again, the great milestone I encountered was he accepted to be my co-investigator in the research I did. And this was very insightful because this helped me to develop our study protocol to suit what was required. So we decided to go for to have a pilot study before going into the field proper. So what part of things we did were to start, we administered some questionnaires and to some women that had August meeting, and we found out that there was low literacy level. We are still processing the information so that I can send it to you for you to see by the time the data is out. Now, the major thing I did after that, I started teaching in the classroom about this, conducting seminars in schools, trying to speak with health professionals that I know so that they will know about it. And overall, I think I did sensitization with 287 people. Now, I noticed finally that the major challenge that I have, because I applied for 2 grants to see if I can source for money, knowing that my action plan, part of the way I said what I'll be provided for them is by crowdsourcing for funds from philanthropists so that we can have a steady water supply for them. Then again, that would now be managed by the community members. But I have to have plan B should this one fail. That's why I went for the applying for funds. So that made me to do physical survey on the surrounding to add to the grant form that I submitted to TWAS. And I submitted to TWAS, then I submitted to TED Fund equally. So the summary of this that we found out, lesson learned, is that action plan is very good, but remains subject to modification as other factors can affect the possible outcome of the study. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ogechukwu Aribodor. We're going to go to ask Dirk Engels for what he heard and what he'd like to comment, feedback, share insights with Ogechukwu about her project. Before we do, though, Ogechukwu, I want to ask you, do you feel at this point in time ready to make this commitment to the Scholars Pledge for FGS?
Yes, I do.
All right. And will you be joining the FGS Accelerator on Monday?
With my whole heart, I will. I want to help these girls.
All right, let's now go to Dirk Engels. Dirk, asking you to unmute. Yes,
Can
please
you
go
hear
ahead.
me? Can you hear me? So,
Loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you.
yeah, first of all, congratulate the lady that we've just heard.
Thank you.
Please do introduce yourself, Dirk. Yes, what do you know about FGS?
Oh, sorry. My name is Dirk Engels. I have worked for WHO for 20 years. I retired from WHO in 2017 and I'm still continuing in the field of NTDs, mainly advocacy for NTDs, because I think that is greatly necessary. Now, just for the participants, my first contact with FGS was very early in my career, in the early 1980s in Zimbabwe. In Zimbabwe, we knew about it because the University of Zimbabwe and professors at the University of Zimbabwe, of which one of them was Michael Gelfand, had published about it. But I've always, throughout my further career, I've always been surprised and disappointed that nobody knew much about it. So it has taken actually 40 years for this disease or the consequence, this consequence of schistosomiasis, to bring it actually to visibility. So you won't be surprised then if I say that I'm absolutely thrilled to see 500 people in this room and to hear about the enthusiasm actually of all of you. Now, what particularly strikes me and what pleases me actually is this awareness after these FGS trainings. Hey, yes, we are seeing those cases, right? If you don't know about it, you won't see them. But if you are aware of them, you do see them. And then the second positive aspect to me is you've all made some efforts for a cascade effect. You know, you have had the training, but you've passed it on to other people in your working environment. And then the third good news for me is you've seen that praziquantel works and that there is something to be done about it, and that there is something to be done about it up front. You know, you don't have to wait until the symptoms are totally established. There is something to be done about it. So these are three issues that I must say that are the really positive consequences of this training. And again, I can only say that I'm absolutely thrilled about it.
All right, thank you very much, Dirk Engels. Over 20 years of experience versus neglected tropical